All right, so this is one of those videos I've been wanting to make. It's just very, very interesting. It's none other than about Frank Vignola and the guitars that he uses. And this one's been baffling me. It's really, I should call this thing an Eastman AR 480 CE promotion, the John Pisano 30th anniversary. So for whatever reason, he's had these Frank Vignola guitar nights with some of the best players you can ever imagine. I'm gonna go through a couple of them, but what I found really odd is he keeps playing this very inexpensive, relatively Eastman John Pisano AR480, which is not the higher end Pisano, but this is the 30th anniversary one, which is basically a Herbelis. It looks like a Herbelis 175, which is basically one pickup in the same position as the 175. But he's playing this guitar, and I'm like, I keep saying to myself, why is he playing this guitar? And I Googled, and I've been listening to Frank play for several years. I mean, Frank Vignola probably has hundreds and thousands of guitars. I know for a fact he's got like a D'Angelico from like 1950s, that's vintage. He's played a slew of Benedetto. In fact, Bob Benedetto built him a guitar in 2001, which I believe was the last guitar that Bob Benedetto built, and he played all over that. I've seen him play on a Benedetto Benny and all that. He's got Sadowskis that I've seen him play, and I think he's got a Sadowski model. So I said to myself, why does a guy that has access to hundreds and thousands of guitars, why does he continue to play a relatively inexpensive guitar? Because it doesn't matter. I mean, I don't know if him and John have some kind of agreement and say, well, when you do this guitar night, you're gonna play this, and you're not gonna play the high end Pisano, but you're gonna play the 30th anniversary. I don't know if it's some deal with Eastman, what have you, but he's playing this guitar. So there's a couple of things. I went through a couple of the different guitar nights with John Pisano. So on January 31st, they have one, and he's playing with John Pizzarelli, and it's very interesting because I love watching what guitars these monster guitars are playing, because these guys also have access to anything else that they want. So John Pizzarelli typically plays like a signature mole, but in this video, when he's playing with Frank on January 31st, he's got a non-cutaway Gibson-like guitar that looks to be has a Charlie Christian pickup. There's another guitarist, I'm not familiar with him, Vinny Raniola, probably mispronouncing it. He's got like an acoustic guitar kind of thing. But there's Frank. He's playing that Eastman AR 480 CE. I think I might have said 440, but 480 CE, the 30th anniversary signature. That's what he's playing. Then on February 7th, he's playing with Cheryl Bailey, who's a monster guitarist. I've been listening to her. In fact, I used to listen to her at 55 Bar, which I think probably closed in New York City. So she plays basically a McCurdy signature semi-hollow in there. And then Mike Stern's playing his signature Tele Yamaha. Frank, this time, though, is actually playing a Sadowski. I don't know what model, but that's the only time he's playing the Sadowski from this thing. So that's February 7th. Then on December 6th, he's playing, that's what you heard at the beginning, with a tremendous guitarist, Ali or Oli Sokoli. And this guy's playing a custom-made L5 looking guitar that looks like a 17-inch bound with the, and he's a Finnish guy, so it's by a Finnish luthier. We call him AJL. Let's just put it that way. What is Frank playing? What do you hear? He's playing the John Pisano 30th anniversary Eastman. Okay, November 22nd, Chris Flory, who is a tremendous guitarist, plays a lot of vintage stuff. He's playing a non-cutaway, I believe, Gibson L7. All right, what is Frank playing? The John Pisano 30th anniversary Eastman. All right. And last, he's playing with my man on September 20th, 2023. He's playing with Peter Bernstein and Pasquale De Grasso, and he plays a lot with them. Peter, as you know, or Mr. Bernstein, I call him, plays a John Zeidler. I mean, that's his primary instrument. He used to play L5, but that guitar is like $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. I mean, it's like a tremendous instrument. And then Pasquale De Grasso is playing a custom-made Trenier guitar. What is Mr. Frank Vignola playing? He is playing the John Pisano 30th anniversary Eastman. So there you have it. I don't know why, but you have a guy that's playing with these esteemed musicians that are playing custom made instruments, with signature things from McCarty, from vintage Gibsons, luthiers that are very very specific from that perspective. But he's playing the John Pisano 30th anniversary Eastman, which goes to show you, and he has access, like I said before, to all these other guitars, vintage guitars. In fact, he's got his own model from Eastman. He's got a Benedetto model. He's got, I think, a Thorell or something. I remember looking at that model. He's got access to all this stuff, and yet when he's playing live, he's playing that. That means it's all in your fingers, my friend. That guitar new is like $1,600. It's a good instrument. I actually haven't played it, but I love Eastmans, and I've owned several Eastmans on that. So, I just think it's very, very interesting when you watch that. And by the way, he's playing with all these other musicians that have terrific tones, terrific gear. It's not about the gear, despite all the stuff that you see. It's just really about what you have in your fingers, and practicing and practicing and practicing some more. Just very interesting. Maybe that guitar has some mojo and I got to get my hands on it. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the next acquisition. So anyway, sorry, this was a fun one for me on this end. So practice, practice, practice. And yeah, for any of you guys who own that Eastman AR480, yeah, shoot me an email or put some video or something up and tell me what the mojo is about that. But I probably gathered that most of us are not going to play like Frank. So he's a monster. All right, then. Thank you for watching, and practice some more.